Welcome to How to Survive. We're here to get you through the stuff that can kill you.
Oh, you mean like bear attacks and earthquakes and fires?
Totally. And the stuff that makes you wish you were dead.
Yeah, like having your heart broken or peeing your pants a second time.
Check, check, check.
Yeah. We should just play the music.
Yeah.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Hi, welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. I am Danielle.
I'm Kristine.
How you doing, Chris?
I have my nails painted, so
They're very pretty.
I've got that going for me.
and you did it yourself. You're an at-home nails kind of person.
I did. I have my own cuticle cutter.
Cutter.
Yep.
Do you ask yourself if you can cut your cuticles before you start doing it?
I give myself permission, yes.
Yes.
And I wear glasses so I don't make any missteps. And I just take care of it. You know, I keep my nails very short.
Yes. Which is sort of fashionable.
Is it?
I think it's, yeah.
I can't handle long nails. Yeah.
I just watched, this isn't giving anything away, but I just watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is the movie based on the documentary about Tammy Faye Baker. And she has like a Diet Coke obsession.
Jessica Chastain plays
Jessica
her.
Chastain.
Yes.
And she's actually really good in it. I don't always like her as an actress, but I thought she was very good in this. But she, she has Tammy Faye's like crazy fake nails. And she has an obsession with Diet Coke, which I completely relate to.
You know this.
So she just like keeps Diet Coke with her and then like a nail file, and she opens the can with the file, like, so she doesn't ruin her nails, and probably because she can't, because they would break off.
I have to watch
So
this.
it's just, I don't know, it's just like one of those little details I thought was so great. But yeah, and it's the year of Andrew Garfield because he's in it.
He's
as
in
well.
everything
He's
right
in
now.
everything. I
Tick,
know.
tick, boom.
Yep.
I don't think he's not in Spider-Man anymore, right?
I'm not telling.
Okay.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, everyone will know. But if you have not seen it yet, I'm not going to say a word.
Okay. I haven't, and I probably won't. You know, my son wants to see it. I wanted to go with the whole family to see West Side Story.
Yes.
Because, you know, my daughter's doing some dance now.
Oh, yes. I have to watch the...
I've got to show you her video. And so I'm like, oh, I'll go take her to see West Side Story. I
Yes.
tried to show them the original, and they were like, Mom, I don't think I want to watch this right now. Oh. It starts a little slow. There's a lot of slow songs in it. Yeah, so I think the new one might be a little more up their alley, and then, you know, I can bring them back to the old one.
I don't know that it's going to be different in terms of pace, or it's the same music. It's the same songs.
I'm just saying, I'm going to try it.
All right.
Anyway, she really wants to go see it, and Benji's like, I am not seeing that movie. He's like, right, you know, he's like at the age right now where he's like, all I want to watch is Transformers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's just hearing about movies like that now, you know?
Yeah.
So we let him watch Transformers.
He has a thing for Megan Fox.
I don't know. I don't think he's at the age yet where he's noticing.
I'm joking.
You know, maybe.
But she'll wake it up in anybody.
Oh, I just glanced.
She's gorgeous.
She's so gorgeous. She's like alarmingly hot.
She's alarmingly hot.
Yeah.
I will agree with that.
It makes sirens
She probably
go off
has
in your head.
super long nails too.
You didn't even know.
I know.
I saw her in person.
Oh.
Because we had the same OBGYN.
Okay.
And I went...
Were you like, I'm sorry, I know you just saw Megan Fox's vagina and I apologize for anything.
I'll tell you something. I actually changed OBGYNs after that because I was like, it was like her and Halle Berry and Drew Barrymore were the same doctor as mine when I was, you know, going through infertility. And I was like, I cannot compete with their vaginas. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm going to go to the other guy.
So wait a second. Now that I think about it, my OBGYN is yours because you recommended him. So he's not the one that had the famous people.
But I think he has famous people.
Oh, okay.
Too.
I've never seen anyone famous in the...
I can't believe you haven't.
No.
But have you noticed how alarmingly gorgeous the women are in that waiting room sometimes?
No.
Oh, well.
Maybe I'm not paying attention.
Okay, you might not be, but like
Mine's on my vagina.
Yeah, well, whose isn't?
Let's get into today's topic.
I can't wait.
We are going to talk about nothing less than how to survive a catastrophic societal breakdown.
Which, I mean, I feel like could happen
sort of are.
any moment.
Yes.
Are we in it?
Yes.
Right now?
So we are sort of are, yes. I basically only did one article this time.
That's okay.
It is not from The Art of Manliness.
What?
It is from The Guardian.
They're going to be so sad. Shout
So
out
I'm
to The
going
Guardian.
to do the whole thing in a British accent.
Yes.
Nothing upsets my son more than when I do a British accent. Even if I literally do 2 words,
Yeah.
he gets so annoyed.
Yeah.
Which is funny because this isn't giving anything away, but seeing Spider-Man the other day, again, we record ahead of time, I was reminded of all the characters because he used to have this book of, like, it was put out by Disney, I think, and it was like short Marvel stories.
Okay.
And I would do every single character in a weird voice.
Yes.
And he wanted me to.
Yes.
And I had to remember from each time I read it,
The voices.
the voices, and they were like 20 pages long, each story.
I love that.
So I remember that Dr. Connors, who becomes Lizard, he talked like this. And so Dr. Connors, Spider-Man. So,
Oh my God. How are you not doing so much voice work right now?
Because I don't know. I should. But anyway, so it's funny because that's what I used to do. And then when I read Harry Potter, because I read all 6 books
Yeah.
out loud to him, every single page with British and Scottish accents. I'm not saying they were good.
Scottish is hard.
And I'm not saying I did good accents.
You did.
But
I'm sure you did.
I had fun doing it.
I love doing
And now
voices.
he does a thing where whenever I'm watching a British show, he'll go, hello, hello. So sometimes I'll do it to him. I'll go, hello, hello. And he'll go, oh, mom. Oh. Like he can't. It's like Niagara Falls with him. He can't take it.
It's like me hearing people eat.
Exactly.
My kids will say, Mom, enough. Like they'll let me do it for a while. And then,
accent.
And then sometimes I'll say, I'm going to do it all day if you don't clean up your room. Like I'll use it as a threat. I'll be like, because I don't know if this happens to you when you get into it. It's like fun.
Yes.
And you don't want to stop.
Yes.
It feels like satisfying to do that voice. And then I'm
I know.
I'm enjoying it though. I'm in the voice. So I
Yes.
don't want to lose it because it's
Right.
going really well.
Right. Especially like when you're watching The Crown or something.
Oh, you could really get into it.
Okay. How to survive a global disaster, a handy guide.
Okay.
Whether it's a natural disaster, bioterrorist attack, or pandemic,
Well, here we are.
experts reckon society as we know it will collapse within 13 days
Ooh,
of a catastrophic event.
That feels biblical somehow.
So what do you do? It does sound biblical. Well, didn't Jesus? Oh no, he died at 31 or 33.
You're
33.
asking the wrong person.
I think it's.
Garen?
I think it's 33. But then all those like famous singers and stuff died at the same.
27.
20. Was it 27?
Yeah, a lot of them died at 27.
Okay. On 22nd June. Because it's from The Guardian. On 22nd June 2001. Listen to these British names. Tara O'Toole and Thomas Inglesby of the Johns Hopkins Centers for Civilian Biodefense Strategies organized a war game like no other. The 2 researchers, working with an array of bodies, such as the Institute of Homeland Security, set out to simulate the effects of a biological attack on the U.S.
Ooh.
Notice they picked the U.S. even though they're British.
Yep. They hate us.
Unless maybe those people are American. The project was called Operation Dark Winter,
Ooh.
which I think is the next Iron Man movie.
Operation
I know
Dark
he's dead.
Winter.
Okay. What they discovered was that the country was ill prepared to cope. I think
What?
we discovered that too.
Us?
So this article is from 2016, I should say.
Okay. We did not know what was coming.
No, they should have read this article. Within 2 weeks, there would be enormous civilian casualties, a catastrophic breakdown in essential institutions, and mass civil unrest. Food supplies, electricity, and transport infrastructures would all collapse. I guess you could say some of that is happening now. I mean, we're not in a total societal collapse. We are in a pandemic, and the supplies have been choked.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word. Did you find out when Jesus died?
Yeah.
What was it, 33?
AD 30 or 33. He
Oh.
was 33 to 36 years old.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, he had a longer life than I thought.
Well, I mean,
thought-
back then that was probably
Yeah.
a good long life.
Yes.
Why is everybody so upset
I
about
don't
it?
know. Why are they all uptight?
Guy had a good life.
What they discovered was, I already read that. Okay. These days were spoiled for choice in terms of potential catastrophes.
Oh, just pick one.
Exactly. natural and ecological disasters, nuclear weapons, terrorism, experimental technological accidents. In 2008, a group of experts met at Oxford University conference and suggested that there was a 19% chance of global catastrophic event before 2100, with superintelligent AI and molecular nanotechnology weapons at the top of the threat list.
Can you say that again a little slower, the super thing?
I know I said it really fast because I realized my article is long. So the top of the thing of the threat list that's going to get us is super intelligent AI, artificial intelligence,
yes,
and molecular nanotechnology weapons.
I don't even know what those are.
Well, nanotechnology just means little technology.
Okay.
It's like in the
like babies holding guns. Pew, pew, pew,
I think that's really cute, but I think it's more like in what's the movie with Martin Short and Dennis Quaid? Inner Space.
Okay.
Like a little thing going in your body and like, ooh,
that's what
killing you from the inside.
Oh, that's going to happen to us.
I think so. I think there's a pretty good chance.
I really think I'd rather be shot by a baby, honestly.
Yeah, like in that episode of The Simpsons.
Because they're adorable.
Didn't Maggie shot, what's his face? Mr. Burns, yeah.
I didn't see that. I don't think I saw that one.
Well, spoiler alert.
I'm glad Mr. Burns got shot.
With all this
bad.
He is. With all this in mind, The Guardian spoke to the academic and author Nafiz Ahmed, who has studied global crises and mass violence. We asked him, in the event that society collapses, what should we do? Here's what he suggested.
Okay.
Don't hole up alone with hundreds of tins of baked beans. Now, if you're British, I think you already have hundreds of tins of baked beans because you eat them 3 times a day.
They
right?
love
beans and breakfast.
Beans on toast.
Beans on toast. I don't approve.
They're always like, it's tea time, and then they're just putting beans on toast.
Beans on toast.
That's so.
It's just ugh.
And I like beans.
Yeah, but
way to ruin them.
Not for breakfast. I don't know.
Oh no.
Are they cold or are they hot? They're probably hot, right?
I think they heat up that tin. Yeah. But still, it's sad sounding.
So he says there's a survivalist response, which is, I'm going to hide away all by myself. Mm-hmm. You're probably not going to survive like that. You have to cooperate with other people.
Be nice to your neighbors, I think is a good lesson here.
This may not be obvious at first because you may see others as a potential threat, but the moment you become a loner, you're likely to lose simply because you're now part of a dog-eat-dog environment. The more people who band together, the more likely you are to be able to rebuild something like a society.
Okay.
A society.
A society.
So don't do the thing that they do in all those movies and Twilight Zones where everyone turns on each other and you get in your bunker by yourself. You need to cooperate.
Cult up.
Cult up. That's right. You need to go rural, but not too rural.
Rural.
That's such a hard word.
It's so hard. The rural jurl is so funny to me.
I know. Cities are wonderful when everything is functioning, but they're lethal when there's no order, electricity, or infrastructure. If you stayed in the city, you'd be in more danger. There's no doubt about that, said Ahmad. Generally speaking, when academics have run these scenarios on predictive models, cities are found to be extremely vulnerable simply because there are so many supply chains that are interdependent. And so many people there with you who are also dependent on these supply chains.
Okay.
People will be competing with each other for these scarce resources, which creates violence.
Ooh.
So it's like the Black Friday sale, but on a global scale. People are panicking.
It's worse than punching each other over a shirt at Barney's.
Yeah.
It's like people getting in fights over toilet paper.
I like that you think that the violence that occurs on Black Friday is happening at Barney's.
It's only because I just watched Sex in the City last night.
Half of it.
Like half of an episode.
And there's something takes place at Barney's.
There's a Barney's reference. It's not because I have ever shopped in a Barney's.
You need access to running water. And, I think I skipped something, sorry. However, the other extreme, total isolation, may also not be a good idea for the reason given above. You need a group of, this is key, differently skilled people who can work cooperatively in order to build your own supply chains and flourish.
So you need like the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
100%, Kristine. I think that is an excellent
reference,
yes.
I just pulled that out of my pocket.
You need... We had a little statue when I was a kid of Oh no, maybe it was rubber dub 3 minutes. No, it was like a little boat or a little tub,
Okay.
but with the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker in it. Or maybe it was 3 minute. This is fascinating. Okay.
I love it. Keep going.
You need access to running water and agricultural land. This is where we're going to get in trouble if you're me. In the event of a major global catastrophe, within the first few days, roads will be clogged and supermarkets looted.
Okay.
Okay, so think about that. That's what's happening. So you'll be forced to generate your own supplies. Because if you're not as fast as everyone else and you didn't get this stuff in the supermarket.
Right.
So, and also how long is that going to last you?
So you need a farm?
In a scenario such as a pandemic, you need to be somewhere you can access running water and or other sources of energy. This isn't just for sustenance. Fast running water can also be harnessed to provide power.
True.
As long as you thought to buy a small-scale hydroelectric generator.
Oh, yeah.
But we know you bought one because of the blackout episode and all those things.
Yeah, but this has to be hydroelectric. Isn't that different?
Yes, you're right. It has to, the hydro would suggest water.
It does, to me.
I'm sure there are people who have that sort of thing. But yeah,
Yes.
that's what they're saying. The problem is most of us don't spend our weekends buying up on personal energy solutions, just in case. If we're talking about a sudden collapse, then the chances are you won't have a solar-powered generator on hand.
Correct.
But at least if you're near water, you can drink it. There's also the need to grow your own food.
Oh, man.
Okay, this is where, if you're me, this is a problem.
I am not good at growing vegetables.
Have you tried?
Yes.
I could see you doing that. That seems like something you would do.
I am just getting a handle on indoor house plants. But like everything outside, I murder it. I am not skilled.
Do you murder it or do critters come along and murder it?
I think it's both, but like I'll just forget to water it or I'll overwater it. I don't have the green thumb.
I remember when they canceled The Dish. Remember that day?
Yeah.
That fateful day.
When I cried and I was the only one crying.
I do remember, yes.
And I just had this like polyester scarf that I kept trying to use.
And it was unabsorbent.
But it was, and it wasn't just a little bit of crying. I was like, I had like snot running out of my nose. And I was the only one crying, and I was in the front of the room, front of the
guy who was telling us
the EP of the show,
who was telling us the show's done.
Yeah, and
I remembered very clearly.
Yes, that was a good day.
So what I was going to say was how I told Jimmy was I called up and I said, well, it looks like I'll have time to work on that garden I've been bragging about. And then how many years ago was that? I still don't have a garden. But anyway. Okay. Again, you're better off doing that with a group of people on a large land.
Like a community garden.
Yes, of land where you can apportion labor.
Okay.
See, that's not going to work as well in an urban environment. So I can do manual labor. If someone tells me to plant, I will do it. I just don't know how to do any of those things without being told. So I am going to be a cog.
You're going to be a
in
worker
this
bee.
machine. Absolutely. I will work my bee off.
Okay. You know your role.
Exactly. I just need someone there who's going to be like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Okay. They're still going to need people to be funny.
I'll just do a tight 10 while everyone is, digging. Yeah. And then I'll just do some improv and make it last. And then I won't ever have to actually work.
I think that's a great plan.
That's what they mean, right? By apportion labor.
Mm-hmm.
Establish communications. If you wanted to forge a community and be resilient, you may not necessarily have to communicate with the wider world.
Okay.
I
like that as an introvert.
However, you may need to know what's going on. The thing is, in a catastrophic scenario, I never know if it's scenario or scenario. I think it's scenario. You don't know what communications are going to be up and running. The basic method of acquiring information will be a wind-up or solar-powered radio. I believe you have one of those, right?
I do, and I can't stress enough that we should all have one.
I totally agree with you.
Because with every situation we've discussed, It's almost always stressing.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe not the car sinking in the water. It's not going to really help you to have a wind-up radio. SOS, anybody out there? I'm sinking. But I think with a lot of the natural disasters.
Right.
Yes.
However, to actually communicate with the outside world or with members of your community, you may be back to walkie-talkies.
Oh, wow.
Two-way radios, or even a citizen band radio.
Okay.
CBs. All of these will require electricity, so unless you stockpile batteries or fuel for a traditional generator, you may be stuck. However, we're now being we're seeing both solar and hydrogen powered generators. So yeah, when in A Quiet Place 2, A Quieter Place.
I haven't seen that. Should I see it?
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they used walkie-talkies, or they used something. You didn't see it? They used walkie-talkies or two-way radios or something like that. That's what I base all my my knowledge on.
Well, I think we're basing our whole podcast information on A Quieter Place too.
Yeah.
I think solar, though, it seems like a good investment because no matter what,
unless it's a nuclear fallout and there's no
sun.
Yeah.
Then I think we're just gonna die.
Right.
We're all
if the catastrophe is that someone shot an arrow at the sun.
Yeah.
Well, then
buy a pack of cigarettes.
Drink it up. I'm just going to say exactly.
Get a tattoo and
I like that our answer to everything is, well, just get a fucking pack of cigarettes.
just smoke. Finally, that's all I want to do.
I know. What about the internet? I've always said, like, if I knew I was going to die, I would eat chocolate cereal because
that's what you deprive yourself of.
There's some sort of cereal I once saw. It's probably terrible, but it looked good because it was cereal and it has like chocolate inside.
Yeah.
And cereal is one of those things I don't really partake of that much. I mean, it's not like I never eat desserts. I do eat desserts.
Yeah.
But when it's time for breakfast, I don't eat
Sure.
empty calories.
Right,
Let's put it
right.
that way. So cereal is one of those things that, like, if I knew I was going down, it'd just like be Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or Life, Cinnamon Life
Yeah.
is like my favorite thing.
Oh, Life cereal's so good.
Oh my God. What about, and then I'd smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. I think I'd skip the cereal.
You'd skip the cereal.
Yeah. Because food,
You're not so much into food.
I'm not a foodie person, really. It's like when I'm stressed, also food is the last thing I want.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm not the opposite of food. I'm like, no, thank you. Yeah.
okay.
I would just be like, I want I want like one of those spicy margaritas, maybe.
Oh, okay.
The kind that's
like a meal.
That's got a little mezcal in it and a little spice, little spice around the rim, pack of cigarettes,
That all sounds good.
and I just want to listen to good music.
I just picture you with a fork and knife eating a cigarette. I don't know why. Because Kristine does that European thing where she holds the fork and knife while you're eating. I've noticed, right?
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You do like a
I don't put it
European-
down. What are you supposed to do? Put it down?
I'm just like an animal. I'm just like, cut it and then slam the knife down. But you do like a kind of fancy thing where you kind of like have the fork and knife in your hand. I've always noticed that.
I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
I just learned by copying other people who knew how to use silverware as an adult.
Okay. Here, I know what you're thinking, you guys. What about the internet?
Yeah. What about it?
According to Peter Taphouse and Matthew Block of UK-based server hosting company Bytemark, there's a possibility that many of the tens of thousands of separate networks and data centers that make up the backbone of the internet could survive the collapse of civilization, with an S, if they had access to local power. However, the content networks and transit providers would be vulnerable to societal collapse. Sure, Google has nice offices and all, but people are less likely to go to work if the city is a death zone of marauding looter gangs. So basically, like, those things might exist, but there might not be anyone there to keep up with them.
Okay.
So even though the net is designed as a nonlinear, decentralized system, it could be that only military frameworks would reliably survive.
Okay.
Your best option then may be to set up your own community computer network. This
Okay.
is once again where I'm like, I'll
Not
go
me.
out
Yeah.
and forage for
Yeah.
tea or something.
I'm gonna write dick jokes.
Right.
Do we? Do we need dick jokes right now? Because
Yeah.
That's my strength.
Maybe you could be the comic and I'll be the audience, and you just ask for suggestions and I'll throw out things. Societal collapse.
Yes.
Armageddon. And then you do bits, and then someone will figure this shit out.
I agree. I think, you know what? We're going to be in the same cult together. I'm just going to call it a cult because what's going to happen. Group sex
100%.
is
Yeah.
immediately going to start
That's
happening.
right.
And people are going to start switching partners. You and I are going to be like an improv team.
I love it.
We're going to do some sketches.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some separate stand-up, and we're going to just entertain the troops.
That's right.
Right?
And honestly, we don't really have to worry about how well we do because they're probably going to be so busy with all this
Yeah.
work they have to do. They won't really be listening.
No, they're just going to be happy to have any form
just
of
want
entertainment.
background noise.
We can act out episodes of Cheers.
Oh my God,
Like
yeah.
things from movie. We'll say, what movie do you really miss? Oh, we
Yeah.
got that. We'll do that movie
100%.
for them. Whatever.
That's great. I can throw out all my accents.
Yes, we'll do accent night. Whatever. We just don't want to be gardening.
Okay, your best option then may be to set up your own community computer network, and the most sensible technology would be Wi-Fi as the components are easily available. This is what they're saying. You could loot a PC World for broadband routers and then hit a garage or supermarket for some Pringle cans.
I don't know what any of that means, but what are the Pringle cans?
I'm going to tell you. With those, you can probably build a reasonable network across a scorched suburb. Why a Pringle can?
Yes, thank you.
It can be used to create a cantenna. Do you know what a cantenna is?
I'm in my head guessing.
It's a portmanteau blending the words can and antenna.
I love it. I love that you said portmanteau.
Well, that's what it says. It's a homemade directional waveguide antenna made out of an open-ended metal can, i.e. Pringles, and it would be capable of boosting a Wi-Fi signal from your computer.
I feel like you're also teaching people how to get illegal internet right now.
Great. If they can do it from a frickin' Pringles can, then more power to them.
Yeah, if they can figure that out from just this information, then they should be able to have this internet. This is amazing.
So just so you know, some students in Kansas made a cantenna that transmitted over 100 miles.
Wow. Good for them. I hope they're going to MIT now.
Yeah. He suggests using a cheap Raspberry Pi. So I looked up, what is a Raspberry Pi? A series of small single board computers. I'm guessing, I bet we all know someone who knows this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Like, so in that case, that's what you need. You just need the leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's somebody who I did an open mic with and now he's running a network.
Right. He said some inappropriate things to you. Now he's running a network. Right. Okay. So if you ran an old school email network off those, it'd be quite handy and expandable piece by piece as you contacted neighboring villages.
Okay.
I guess by villages, they mean
cults,
cities, towns, cults, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Other groups.
I like this next one. Don't necessarily trust the government or law enforcement.
Oh, we're right up in my brother's alley right now.
This is the brother with the gun room.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The disheveled guns just sort of in a heap.
And a bunch of land.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Does he have a fence?
It's not fenced in, no.
No.
But I'm saying, guys.
Oh, we could go there.
Listen,
when the shit hits.
When you want to have a brother like this.
Yes.
Because when the societal collapse happens.
Right.
You want to have a brother who has, 5 pickup trucks.
Yes.
A bunch of, what are those machine guns called?
Submachine guns?
The ones.
AK-47s?
Yeah, a bunch of AK-47s.
Wow.
40 acres out in the middle of nowhere. And one of those dune buggy vehicles.
Oh my God. Why does he have AK-47s? Like, what is he just, target practices with them?
Because he can, I guess. Because he can. I mean, he has other guns too. He's
good. That's good to know.
He's got hunting. He doesn't hunt with AK-47s.
I know.
I mean, he hunts. I don't know if I think it's just this idea of like, I like guns and I want to have different kinds of guns.
Right. It's like women with shoes.
Yes. Those are the Manolo Blahniks of the gun world.
Exactly.
It's like Carrie's closet. He's like the Carrie in his relationships of his friends. He's the Carrie.
Okay. All major governments have contingency plans in place to ensure their survival after a global disaster. Well, we saw how that all worked.
Yeah.
In 2007, for example, George Bush signed into place the National Security Presidential Directive, which claims the power to execute certain orders in the event of a catastrophic emergency. President Obama also signed a National Preparedness Executive Order in 2012. The thing is, most of those preparations are classified. We won't know what they are until it happens. What we can be fairly certain of, however, is that it will involve the suspension of constitutional government.
Oops.
And the installment of martial law.
Oh, yeah. Didn't Trump try to do that?
Yes. But that had nothing to do with the collapse of... That was just because he didn't like the way the election went.
He was just like, I want to do this.
Yeah. But remember when the pandemic hit, he kind of ignored all the things that were set in place. Like, didn't he, I don't know, set fire to a bunch of masks or something? He basically just like, boo, I don't want to help. Based on the continuity of government plans we have in the U.S. and Western Europe, there's no doubt that you would have a visible force presence on the streets to try and maintain order.
Yep.
So get used to tanks. There would be all sorts of things necessary in a pandemic scenario. The need to quarantine, the need to contain the spread of the virus. So we all know about that.
We're doing that.
Yeah, sort of. Some of us are.
Yeah.
But here's a slightly paranoid question. What if it had been decided by contingency planners that civilians are somewhat surplus to requirements? What if the security personnel aren't actually on our side? Dun, dun. Never 100% always trust the military, especially when they're in your own territory.
Done.
Done and done.
Yeah.
I don't need a catastrophe to happen to get that. Instead, we should be, I mean the people in charge. I don't mean the enlisted. Instead, we should be using our fledgling communication networks to gather public support and ask questions. So they're saying, this is no time to bury your head in the sand.
Yes.
Okay. The fact is, we have democracy for a reason. There are checks and balances. The government has said that they need to have these continuity operations. And we've said,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we need those.
But they work for us.
Right. We've given our consent by not really complaining about it. But at the same time, we know that's not the way we want the country to run. So the moment we shift into a state where suddenly the police and army, this unelected minority of people, have all the power and where all the political processes are suspended, then, yes, there is a justifiable level of skepticism. Populations need to be asking, when is this situation going to end? Ha 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 ha. And what point is this temporary suspension of our normal constitution going to lead back to the normal way of things? So I don't think to me, this article doesn't sound like, paranoid, mountain people with go bags.
No.
Right? It just sounds like, you know what I mean by mountain people.
Doomsday preppers.
Doomsday preppers.
The people with,
your kin.
Yes.
Right? It sounds like a reasonable, healthy amount of skepticism and
Yes.
and wariness about the government. I do think there's a healthy amount of, vigilance.
I think that one thing we all should have is that,
Yes. Yeah.
but there's a continuum,
Right.
and some people are on one end of it and some people are on the other.
Yeah. It's good to not be naive.
Yes.
You don't have to. There's a big, vast array between naive and doomsday prepper.
Exactly.
That was how to survive the breakdown of society. And when we come back, we're going to talk about other things that break down or break.
I can't wait.
Me too. So welcome back. I think we really need to acknowledge what happened during the break, which was that we had a flickering light bulb.
Yeah.
One of those overhead
Fluorescent
annoying things that was going to send us into shock.
24-hour migraine.
Right. So Garen stepped up literally onto a chair, fixed it for us, and now I think he has a place in our cult, in our post-apocalyptic cult.
As not the person we were going to eat first.
Right. Now we know we need him in case we have light bulbs.
Well, now I'm the leader.
That might
That's a
not
stretch.
be.
You've proven your worth but we've bumped you to maybe third person we eat, but
Yeah.
not first.
Because what is the
I'll take
chances we're going to have?
Electricity. period.
We will if we have our hand-cranked solar-powered or hydro-powered generator.
Well, I'm going to actually Google those later. Hydroelectric
I'm sure you
generators.
will.
I want to see the cost on those and maybe think about getting one.
Treat yourself.
Exactly.
Put a big bow on it.
Yeah.
So we just talked about what if society breaks down, and now we're going to talk about emotionally breaking down and also broken bones.
Broken bones. Have you had a broken bone?
Well, I haven't had a broken bone, but when I was younger, I used to dance when I was younger.
Yes.
Ballet, six times a week, and it hurt to go on point. It hurts to go on point anyway. But something was wrong with my ankle, and so they determined that I either had either a little piece had broken off,
Ouch.
or I had been born with an extra piece.
Oh.
I don't.
Lucky.
Yeah. So basically, I just wasn't a good enough dancer. I really don't know that I needed the surgery, but I guess something was hurting. So I got it removed.
Okay.
Whatever that was, a tiny little piece of bone in my ankle, and I still have the scar. And I really don't remember that much of it, which sounds weird because I wasn't that young.
Did that help though for you to go on point?
I guess it must have. Again, I was never very strong on point. It requires a great amount of strength, which I just didn't really have. And
that's straight toe, right?
So yeah, you're in special shoes called point shoes that make you go straight up, basically. I mean, you're bent a little bit, and it's very hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, it sounds
and you have to be
horrible.
super, super strong. And, some professional dancers are so strong that like they'll break their shoe after the first time. And like in performance, they like need a new pair every performance, I believe. When you're young and, just practicing, you don't need that. I also don't have like amazing, crazy arches. Some people have like amazing arches where they just like, they break the shoe. I mean, you have to break them in a little bit to break them in because it's basically like cardboard or it's something like solid in there.
It sounds so difficult.
It's hard. But anyway, so that's my only experience. Have you ever you broke something?
I first off, I just want to say, I'm glad it didn't work out for you because now you get to be in comedy, and I don't think there are a lot of hilarious ballet dancers.
Well,
out there.
I was an oddity. Even I was with a group of fairly funny, kids.
Okay.
I mean, when I was a teenager, but I was kind of the mascot. Like, you know what I mean? I was little and I was funny, and they also thought I was cute and would make jokes about putting me in their pocket.
Yes.
So that wasn't like, it was kind of like funny, but / clown.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Not the
wasn't
kind
a great combo. Yeah. I just wanted to be a ballet dancer so badly, but I just, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry that you're here and not on a stage. Sorry you're not doing Swan Lake right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at this age. I'd still be dancing.
Hey, you don't know.
Not, yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
But I made a lot of good friends that way.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have so many good friends, so many dancers. That's me being jealous. Okay, so you haven't, but you have someone in your life who has.
Right.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about this?
So during this past summer, now this story has already been told on Never Not Funny, but I'll just tell it from my perspective, which is that my son, we left him alone at night for the first time when he was 13. It wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're leaving him alone.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, this just happened to be the first time we were leaving him alone at night, and he was fine. So we went out to dinner with 2 other couples, something we never do.
Yeah.
But we were like, we're going to do this thing we said we would do. We went outside to, an outside restaurant, and Jimmy and I took the metro there.
That's fun.
It was really, that was nice. It was like so easy, just one stop, and got off in Culver City. And I was like, I better put my phone on the table just in case all of our calls.
You're a mom.
Yeah, let's not be totally irresponsible. So I'm like, midway through my cocktail, and he calls. I was like, whoa, something must be really wrong, because he wouldn't call if for no reason. Mom, I fell and I really hurt myself. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I slipped and I fell on my arm. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll come right home.
Yeah.
So I tell Jimmy, I hang up and I tell Jimmy, and he's like, let me call him, because, how bad could he have hurt his arm? Well, Jimmy calls him, and now he's crying. Oh. So we're like, holy shit. So we leave.
Yeah.
Throw in our money for the meal. We run to the metro. I'm wearing, like wedge shoes or something, and I'm a little tipsy, and we're running.
Good combo.
Yeah, we're running to the metro, and it takes forever, and we get there and we get back, and he is just in excruciating pain. And how
does his arm look? Does it look normal?
No, it looked normal. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It looked normal. And so we go, okay, we'll go to the after hours, because there's an like an urgent care very close to us, which as you pointed out, I said my husband is constantly there. And what did you say?
It's his cheers.
It's his cheers. Yeah. He comes in, Jimmy. Yeah.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, they all know him.
Good to see
so
you.
We go there, and it was like they take the last person at 8:00, and it was 8:10. And they were like, we can't take it. And we're like, we totally understand, but this kid is in massive pain, and he's a kid. And they're like, I'm sorry, we can't. Which I understand. It's, Jimmy was upset, but I was like, they got to cut it off at some time. So we went to the emergency room. When we had dinner, someone suggested a certain emergency room. They're like, okay, we'll take him to this one, because this one is
the good one.
the good one and the quickest one, and it was in Santa Monica. And lo and behold, we went, and we were like in and out in an hour.
Wow.
Which is never. And the week before, we were at the emergency room for another reason. Literally the week before with him. This is not a kid who is constantly hurting himself or anything.
Coincidence.
Yeah. And we were there for like 7 hours.
Different one.
Different one.
Room. Okay.
So we go there, and I'm like, please don't let it be broken. Please don't let it be broken. Please don't let it be broken. And I went out into the lobby because you can only have like one parent with them. And they come back and they said, it's broken. And I'm like, fuck. So it was the beginning of the summer. It was
good time for a broken arm.
Yeah. It was the middle of a pandemic. Hadn't been in school, so he's just been at home for, like everyone, been at home for like, and he was given the opportunity to go back to school. He did not go back to school. So he had been doing whatever they call it, video school, Zoom school. And basically what he did was he was watching, what the fuck is it called? The Tarantino movie. Pulp Fiction. Thank you. He was watching Pulp Fiction, gets up to get himself a snack and to go to the bathroom, slips on the 1 inch of tile we have in our house, lands on his arm and breaks it. And I go, kid, you're going to have to come up with a better story. He's like, I know. Because it was so embarrassing because every time someone asked, it's like, no, has nothing to do with any physical activity. He's not into sports. Nope. Wasn't baseball, wasn't soccer, wasn't basket. No, he was watching a movie and got up to get a snack and fell on his own arm.
Oh,
and
man.
It was but when I found out it was broken, I freaked out. So this is like the mental breakdown part of the story because I freaked out. I didn't freak out. I got really depressed. I was just like, God damn it.
Do you think it's because just to point out during the time period at the beginning of summer, that was that moment of light we had as a people where we thought things were opening up.
Right.
We thought we were out of the darkness and we were like, oh, it's summer.
Right.
And we've beat this and we get to do stuff again and we get together with friends and life is opening and maybe you thought he's going to have this normal summer. It was
definitely, that was an aspect of it. That was a huge aspect of it. He was going to go to Chicago with Jimmy to see his grandparents, and he was supposed to play golf there. And basically, it was that. It was also my own insecurity about how unathletic he is.
Oh, okay.
And the feeling of why couldn't he be a kid in sports who broke his arm? It's a lot of self. It's all about me. It's not
projecting.
about him. A lot of projecting, but it's also about I can't get him outside anyway, and now this is going to make it worse. And he's just going to be sedentary the whole summer.
He's not going to be able to do physical stuff.
Yeah,
even
not
more.
that he does anyway.
Yeah.
Right. It was just a bunch of guilt and a bunch of I've done things wrong. I don't know about
you. Just had so much mom guilt.
Well, yeah, I don't know about you, Chris, but I immediately go to, oh my God, when he was 3, I should have done this.
Me, mom guilt? I'm familiar.
Okay, so I don't think dads go there, which is healthier.
Yeah.
But I go there constant. I mean, maybe some do, but basically I'm just constantly if only I had done this. Even though he's a great kid and he's a great person, I'm just constantly ugh, I should have made him take Spanish when he was 4. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Constantly that kind of thing. So
I think it's a country in which mothers live, and it's a place that men only visit occasionally. They
or
pop
just
in,
read a pamphlet about it.
Yeah, they might even just read the pamphlet and go, you know what?
I don't want to go there.
I ever
want to be there.
And we're like, oh, well, we live here and it sucks, but we don't know how to leave.
Literally, there's no exit.
We just drive around this island and there's no bridge to get off. And men are
hysterical.
like, oh yeah, I never went there to begin with.
Right.
I read the pamphlet.
I'm smart enough not to go there. That's exactly right. So I just had all this confluence of, if that's the right word, of emotions and feelings about it. So, and I took it much, much harder than he did. Mm-hmm. And it was his writing hand. And it was he had been making these dolls at the time for people for money. He'd been doing this little business and he couldn't do it because his right arm was done.
Right.
And he did go to Chicago. He couldn't play golf. He did get on the cart and ran it into some posts a few times, which apparently was hysterical. I was like, fine, that's just fine. Have fun. I don't care. And, Jimmy didn't get mad because Grandpa thinks it's hilarious. So, he wouldn't have gotten mad anyway, actually. But, so, Yeah, so it was just, and then like he couldn't do ping pong. We were going to try to get him back into ping pong, and he couldn't do that obviously because his arm was broken. And it was just like so it was like a mental breakdown
for you,
for me, and just a physical break.
How do you think you overcame that? Like, what did you do because now you have some perspective on it. Like,
I do have perspective on it, but I don't know that I didn't have perspective. I knew what I was doing in the moment.
In the moment, even you knew sort of what you were doing, and but there must have been some point. I assume you're not still living in that.
Well, no, because his arm's better. I mean, honestly, I think it's just because it healed.
So you sort of punished yourself in a way,
just for the length of the cast,
which is not nothing.
No, it was like 6 weeks.
So for 6 weeks, you just endured mom guilt pretty hard.
I guess so.
Depression.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know that the depression lasted the whole time. It definitely. Look, I struggle with sort of minor or whatever they call it, borderline depression. Anyways, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't hit, and it happened to hit right then, and it just felt like everything was bad and disappointing and not what it should be. And you get these ideas in your head that things should be a certain way, and then when they're not, you get super disappointed, which actually I just told him about, so it's a lesson for me too. So anyway, I don't know if I did survive it, except that obviously he coped really well, so that helped a lot, that he wasn't complaining and he wasn't, he was fine with it. And then it came off right before school started, which was great. Yeah. Like literally he still had the day of the school orientation is when he got it off. Yeah. So that was great. So he could go back to school without a handicap.
It's probably comforting for you to see, he's not dealing with it, at least in the way that I deal with it.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a better coping mechanism.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, it didn't prevent him from doing the things he likes to do. Yeah. Which was, watch TV. Yeah.
He had a good time. It prevented him from doing the things you aspired
that I wanted him to do. Exactly.
But it's also just not really the person that he is.
Yeah. We actually even went mini golfing, and he still did well. Even with the broken arm, he was able to do that. So that was fine. We just needed to do something. But yes, it was the pandemic and all that crap.
Well, I do think the pandemic it's just another layer, because if that were removed, it might not have hit you so hard.
That's true.
But you were already,
because he wouldn't have been home for all that time.
Yes.
And it just felt like another, oh my God, you're home still. Not doing anything. Yes.
I think sometimes we forget to acknowledge, because we've been in it for a while, that we're all, I think, in a system of grief in a way. Yeah. That we've already kind of said, well, I'm used to this, so I can't count that as part of what I'm...
Oh, like you dismiss it. You don't allow yourself to feel that because I should be used to that by now.
I should be used to this.
That's a norm.
This major catastrophic experience we're all going through. Because I've had enough time to get used to it, but it hasn't gone away.
No.
And we're still experiencing it, and we still have to live with a constant state of anxiety and restrictions on our lives and worrying about our children and ourselves and our family. And so I think sometimes it's okay to acknowledge this is a major thing we're all dealing with, and also use it just to blame everything on it.
Right.
I like to do that. If I can't think of a word, I'll say,
stupid pandemic.
Goddamn COVID. That's messed up my brain.
Okay, so now you have experienced breaking something.
I have. I went through my whole entire life without breaking any bones. Pretty minor. I had stitches once, but I'd never had any broken bones. And then I think it was about 2 years. It was before the pandemic. So, let's say, how long ago did the pandemic start? 12 years ago? 1970, bicentennial year? 1977?
Yes,
77, yeah. So let's say it was 2019.
Okay.
It was the middle of the night, and, my kids still come into our bedroom at night, much to the consternation of my husband, because he thinks all other 9-year-olds sleep and go to bed and say, good night, Mommy, good night, Father. No. And they walk into their beds and turn off their lights and tuck themselves in and fall asleep.
No.
My kids, though, in the middle of the night, most nights come in at some point.
And then they have to get through all the popsicle sticks that have been left in the bed.
They get stabbed by the 17 popsicle sticks, get snapped at by the dog. If they accidentally step on her, she's like, by the pit bull's sharp teeth. And when my daughter came in, it kind of woke me up a little bit. And so I was like, now I have to get up and go to the bathroom. So I got up, went to the bathroom, came back, and I was like at the end of the bed, sort of trying to feel around to not lay on her and figure out where the bed was. And my foot got caught in my own pants because I was wearing like wide leg, stretchy, pants.
This is what you get for being so stylish during bed.
I know. I was trying to be cute. And I tripped on the pants.
Yeah.
Tried to right myself by putting my hands down to fall on the bed. And there was no bed there.
Oh.
And so I just kept going down to the floor, and I had my fingers in that sort of tent shape.
Oh, no. Garen is going to leave the room.
Garen's not okay now.
Okay, so you had them in a tent shape.
I had them in the tent shape, and my ring finger hit first.
Ooh.
And I heard it and felt it snap. And I screamed like, fuck. And literally my husband's like, what happened? And I was just like, holding my finger and just crying in pain, like shouting, I don't know. And I feel like everybody just slept through it.
And you were worried, the irony is that you were worried you would wake them up.
Of course.
So, so it snaps.
Yeah.
And then what do?
I was like,
I just go back to bed? Or
I couldn't go back to sleep, and I was just like kind of holding my finger. And I was like, I think this is broken, but I don't know. It looked okay.
Okay.
And then, I might have gone back to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And then I looked at it again, and it was big.
Oh, geez.
It was real big. And I said, I'm going to go to... And Sven was like, no, I think it's fine. Because he's German. Like, your head could be kind of falling off, and a whole couple strings would be holding it. And he'd be like, just put a little tape,
It's Neosporin.
Yeah, Neosporin, blow on it. Slice an onion and put an onion on it. It's just weird mythological treatments.
Okay.
So I went to urgent care. And they were like, "Yep, it's broke." They did an X-ray, and they were like, "It's got a break," but it wasn't like it was minor.
Okay.
And so the problem was, my rings were stuck
because it was your ring finger,
and they were like, "We got to get those rings off." And I was like, "Okay." So first they tried with just like lotion, mind you. They're trying to pull the rings off my broken finger, so it's like broken at the knuckle.
So was it excruciating as they're trying to get it off?
Yes, it was excruciating. It's not like they were like, let us give you some fentanyl first. They were like, you're just gonna take this. So that didn't work. So then they tried this technique with dental floss. So they wrap dental floss around the rings, and they're just pulling and pulling and pulling.
Oh my God.
While I'm sobbing.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, I'm trying to be like,
cut off the fucking ring.
I was just like trying to not make sound. So it was like silent crying because I wanted to be brave. But just tears streaming, snot streaming while they're just apologizing to me. They're like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm just like,
why couldn't they give you a painkiller?
I don't know. Maybe it's like they're not going to give you opioids at urgent care unless your, head is falling off with the strings. And so they were like, the next step, obviously is we'd have to cut them off. And, we don't want to have to do that because, it's your wedding ring, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cut that fucking
Was it
thing
both
off.
rings?
Yeah. And then they finally got one off.
Wow. With the string?
With the string. But the next one was even more difficult. And I was just like, cut these off. I don't even care. Like, who cares? We've been married long enough.
Right.
We can end this. And it doesn't matter, really. And I think it took like an hour.
To cut it off?
No, they finally got it off with the dental floss.
Wow.
But it was a hell show. And then they put like a metal, what's that thing, like a splint on it and kind of wrapped it, and I was gone. But it took, I think, I couldn't put my rings back on for almost 2 years.
What?
They were on the other side because my finger was swollen for that long.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then it just, obviously it healed, and was it in a lot of pain?
It was not pleasant. Ugh. I don't recommend it.
Oh my God. No, that sounds awful. Garen, have you ever broken anything?
Let me tell you.
He's a little faint right now.
I don't know where this came from, but the idea of breaking my fingers is horrifying to me.
I'm sorry.
And my brother discovered as we were growing up that if you grab one of my fingers, I go into absolute hysterics.
Whoa.
Wow.
Like I just start cackling and giggling and like it's weird. I don't know why it is.
But you're not doing it out of laughter. You're not.
No, it's
just-
I'm hysterical.
Oh my God.
I just start laughing as a
Jesus.
defense mechanism. I don't know what it is, but it's
Wow.
so hearing that is I'm literally have chills
sorry.
over my entire
Oh
body.
my gosh.
Which
I'm so sorry I did
no,
that
it's
to you.
fun. It's funny. It's emotion. I'm feeling something. But no, I've never broken anything. When I was a kid, we used to go to North Carolina, and there's this place called Grandfather Mountain, if anyone's ever heard of it.
I haven't.
I was there with my stepmom's family, and we were up there at the top of the mountain, the peak, and I found this like bug, this little shell of a beetle or something. Like, I'm going to scare somebody with this.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, come over here. It was to her sister-in-law. And she's like, what? And I called out your hand. And I just dropped the bug in her hand, and she's like, oh, and I don't know if she got startled or not, but she slipped.
Oh.
And I don't know if it was her ankle or her leg, but it broke.
What?
Like, horribly.
Oh no.
Yeah, at the top of this mountain. I'm like, she could have fallen off the mountain.
So wait,
That's how-
she slipped and fell to the ground, and
she,
that
like,
broke it.
I think there was like a little ledge, like,
Oh,
because it was this is mountain, like rock,
Yeah.
stone.
This isn't like
And her finger,
Hollywood
foot, like,
Hills.
Yeah, her foot like slipped off a little edge, and I think it just snapped.
Oh
it.
my God.
Wow.
Yeah, she could have. I mean, there was edge probably 5 feet away. So if she would have fallen, I could have just killed somebody with an accident.
Worst stepson ever.
I know, right? And she had to go to the hospital. I don't think there was surgery, but she was a cast and everything. But after it happened, I was mortified and I vanished.
Where did
From
you
their
go?
lives?
I just went
Forever?
Like they were taking her out. Like they had to carry her out, and I just was like, bye, and I just wandered off on my own. I got more in trouble for that because
I bet.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure,
oh,
like,
How old were you?
11, 12 ish.
Oh, you were just
yeah.
like a little kiddo.
Yeah, it was.
Oh
I
man,
felt so guilty.
Like
about it.
that's what they needed. Like they needed to deal with the lost kid at this point.
Where the fuck were you at? I was like, I'm sorry, I was just here. I was here at the end of the bridge. This is where I'm at.
Oh my
It was.
Oh,
Was she really mad at you at this point?
No, it was.
Yeah.
But in me, I'm neurotic
Yeah.
as whatever. So I was like, oh, it's my fault. She's gonna die. This is what's happening. I cut off. I've almost killed her.
Oh my God.
Oh God, it was horrible.
Wow.
I just want to give someone a little start.
Is this a funny story people tell at holidays now, or is it like
No, we don't even. I don't wonder if anybody even remembers it.
I'm
But
sure she
I-
does.
Yeah,
I'm
she
sure she
might.
remembers breaking her
I
leg.
don't even. Never mind.
Was the bug
Forget.
alive?
No, it was just a
a
shell.
shell.
It was like a
Yeah.
shell of a beetle or something. It was, and actually, it was like rainbow colored, and I was like, "This is pretty," but I'm gonna scare somebody with it.
She needs to be made of sturdier stock. That's not your
Yeah,
fault.
if you're gonna be mountain people, you need to,
Exactly. It's not going to work when you got your go bag and get the signal to go.
you're gonna trip, break a leg.
Well, we'll have to get her perspective on it.
Yeah. Are you still? Well, she's your stepmom's sister-in-law.
I don't even know.
Is your dad still married to her?
They were never married, but they were together
How
for,
is she your stepmom?
because she was around most of my
Oh,
life.
she was your
So
dad's
she was
girlfriend.
Yeah, and they
Okay.
lived together for however.
Oh, okay.
They're not together anymore.
Oh, okay.
But they work together. Like she goes on jobs with these is hillbillies, Michigan hillbillies.
What is
So
his job? What does he do?
He cleans and fixes sewers.
Oh, and she goes along?
She goes along. Yeah.
Just
I
for
don't
the
think she
fun
does
of
the work.
it.
I think
it's
she
the
drives
fun
or whatever.
part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
No wonder you can fix that light bulb. It's in your genes.
it's in my genes. Yeah.
Fixing sewers and tapping a light bulb, that's like 2 degrees away.
Very connected.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that was great. I mean, I think we've all lived some pretty exciting lives.
We really
here.
have. No, do you want to tell the breakdown story or no? The
About-
dog?
Oh, the dog. You know what? Do you think it's going to be good? Should I try it?
I'm
or
a
do-
little concerned people get really freaked out when you return a dog.
I think it's going to be too
but
sad.
I also don't want to like start censoring ourselves because of that. But and we probably have enough.
Yeah,
But if you
I-
want to tell it, no, you sure?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Let's just make sure we include this though. Don't cut this out.
Yeah, include the stuff we're pondering. Oh, you remember when you had that dog killed? Should
Remember
we put
when
that
I
part
had that dog
back?
euthanized?
Yeah.
That beautiful, gorgeous dog that
Oh
was
my
a
God.
border collie purebred. No, I don't know if it was purebred.
That's That's crazy. Okay, so should we just wrap it up?
Yeah, I love hearing stories about broken bones, and I love giving Garen a chill.
I know. Who knew? I mean, I get when people start talking about like something like what is it that hurts? I have a related thing. It's not broken bones. There's something that when I hear it, I get physically pained, and I can't think of what it is right now. But not the broken bones. So
Sex and the City references?
Yes, that sends shivers up my spine. But I can't remember what it is, but there's some sort of pain someone's enduring, and it makes like my limbs hurt. I can't remember what it is.
I can't see blood either. If I see blood,
Really?
yeah, I cut my finger once and literally was passed out. I was walking,
Wow.
passed out.
But not horror films, obviously, because it's, it's fake. It doesn't
But
bother
real.
you.
Yeah,
What
but
about
the second
on other
it's
people?
real, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So I question how I would be in a crisis because
Wow.
I literally just hit my finger on a metal pole in a parking lot, and I looked down at it, and it was just a little pool of blood, or whatever. I couldn't.
Really?
That happens to me too.
Really?
And it can happen with like my brother is like that as well. I think it's can be like something you're born with that you can't help. Like
Yeah.
it's not like I don't want to say it's genetic because I'm not a scientist, but like cutting yourself and seeing blood can make you faint, and that's a thing. You either have it or you don't. And I get like that, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be like that with my kids.
Yes.
But I'm not.
Oh, okay.
If something happens to them, and
The mama bear thing takes
fine.
over.
So it's interesting how
If I was by myself when that happened, I would probably still be sitting in that parking lot. It's
You just like went
5
into.
years.
well, he's still there. I don't know. I guess he lives here.
I mean, it looks like he just had a little minor scrape. That couldn't have killed him. Jeez. It's so funny. That's really crazy.
You know what gets me?
Yeah.
Which I really, if people vomit or are even talking about it, like I get really like, I'll start getting nauseated. I'm very freaked out about vomit.
I am so sensitive about nauseating things that like if I'm watching a show and someone has, well, in real life or a show, if someone has like food on their face, I literally can't watch. I have to turn around. I can't watch it. It grosses me out so much.
It's like they're doing a food fight or something, or
if it's that, or if it's just like the joke is like, you know how some people think it's funny to put like food.
Yes.
Like
That really grosses
when
you
I
out.
used to babysit these two kids I babysat once, these two sisters, they thought it was really fun as like a treat that they would like take this whipped cream bottle and put it on their, like put some whipped cream on their arm or something and then eat it off. And I was like dry heaving. Like I can't take stuff like that. It just grosses me out. Food in the wrong place grosses me out so much.
Oh, wow.
And I think Oliver, unfortunately, has inherited some of that. But literally, if there's some sort of kind of joke about that, or like, like I was watching something last night, I actually could handle this, but someone had put like ketchup on themselves to resemble blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was okay, but that's the kind of normal thing that would, like, I can't, it just makes me so vomitous. Yeah, I can't take it. I dry heave. I'm just so grossed out by. Oliver once called me from school when he was in grade school, and I had a job, which isn't all the time. And he didn't call me. He was in grade school, but the nurse called me.
Yeah.
And said, your son just threw up. And I was like, oh my god, okay, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I had to leave work. Oliver's at school. I just threw up. I get there and I'm like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. And I take him home. We get in the car and I'm like, so what happened, honey? Well, someone was eating with their mouth open, and
oh my god,
it was really gross. It was peanut butter, and I threw up.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, that's why I just picked you up from school and left work, because someone grossed you out. I'm like, well, you're my kid. I can't really blame you. But
he couldn't help it.
He's inherited it from me. But I wouldn't have picked him up. He just would have gotten over it.
Because
I thought
it's
he
not like
had
a
the flu
virus.
or something.
It's not a virus. He can.
So anyway, it's in the family.
It's so interesting. I'm really actually fascinated by people's weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
tics.
the things that freak them out and like scare them in ways or freak them out in ways. I mean, this is a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But like, I had this conversation with friends at brunch like a few months ago in San Diego. I like brunch, and that topic came up of like, what are your weird like fear ticks things. And my friend Sean is afraid of sunflowers.
What?
Yeah. He's like really freaked out by sunflowers. And if they're growing like sort of wild in somebody's yard, he'll cross the street.
Is it a childhood thing?
Or
he doesn't know.
I don't know. And, he's a psychiatrist. He's like a really like, but it's just like a thing he can't handle. And it made me think of you because with the rats. If it's like, or the cat rats, like if there's more than one cat, you can't handle it.
Yeah.
Because his wife is like, I don't like multiples of things.
Like, is Costco a nightmare for her?
No, it's like in animal, like she's like, she's like, I'm not bothered by any insects. She said, but if there's a multiple of insects.
Sure, well, that makes sense.
Like, and I get if it's like we're in an infestation, that's everyone. But she just meant like, I can handle if I see like, a beetle, but if there's a little group of them,
she'll lose her mind.
I get really like grossed out, like sick to my stomach, freaked out.
I get that.
And I'm really fascinated. It's like, I feel like I could be the Larry King of talking to people about those things because it's like I want to know that about every person.
Well, that'll be your second podcast, your spinoff.
I don't have the energy for that, but
how to survive your own neuroses.
I love hearing about those things about people because it's weird.
Super weird,
so
right?
weird to know like the unusual things that just like make people kind of gag or like,
and you think everyone else has
people.
them too. Like you don't realize how weird it is at first. Like I was with a few ladies one time, and one of the ladies had put like a cracker with some cheese or something on it, like resting on her ankle. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is the most vile, disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And I told Jimmy, and he was like, well, it's not really that bad. I'm like, oh, it's not? Like, to me, that is so it's food. It's food.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is so disgusting. Like that, you're going to put that in your mouth and it's been resting on your like ankle or your leg. Like, you just think it's...
Yeah, you're like, how do you live like this?
How do you live like that?
Here's one. Here's one.
Okay.
This is common, and sorry if you guys do this because I hate you now. No worries. But when you see a couple out and... Hi.
Oh, we just had a visitor come in. 2 visitors.
Come on in.
Jimmy Pardo and Oliver Pardo are coming in. Come in. We're wrapping up.
You're mid-show?
No, it's fine, but come in, yeah.
Say hello.
Just say hello. Come in. Sit down.
No, it's all ridiculous. So sorry.
No worries.
The thing that I'm really freaked out about that I think is so disgusting is when
just stay here.
Nope.
A couple is out in public and one of them is popping the other one's zits.
In public?
You haven't seen this?
No, Kristine. No, I've never seen that in public.
I've seen it multiple times. I've seen it at the beach when it's like a woman popping a guy's zits on his back.
I'm gonna throw up.
I've seen it at Descanso Gardens where it's a woman.
The classy Descanso Gardens?
Yeah, yes, in like a beautiful setting where it's a couple and she's like on his face popping his zits.
I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna throw up.
How? First of all, I wouldn't do that at home.
Private.
I'm like,
I know people do that in private,
but I can't.
No way.
You've got to go see a dermatologist if you're dealing with a place you can't reach. I love you.
Go get a cat.
But yes, we've got to make this marriage work, and I can't do this for you.
No, that is so gross. That is so gross.
But people that would do it in public, I'm like, if you're doing that in public, what are you doing in private?
No kidding. Jesus, you foul, gross, disgusting person. No, I've never seen that in public.
Okay, so I'm sorry to have offended you both.
No, how did you offend us? You think we do it?
I feel like I brought something up that was beyond the pale.
It's totally fine.
I feel like I've crossed a line. I'm sorry, but if you're listening and you do this with your partner, you can't do this.
You can't. It's so gross.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
You haven't ever done anything like that, have you, Gary?
Not in public, no.
Okay. I mean, whatever you do in your private life, whatever.
Yeah.
But just don't have a sandwich nearby or else I'll really throw up.
You must hate Grey Gardens.
Grey Gardens. Oh.
Where they're like eating chicken in bed.
I don't love it. Don't love it. Yeah. I'm not. I get really queasy. Oh my God. Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We really have.
I feel like
we've broken spirits. We've broken bread.
I don't know. Did we teach anyone how to survive anything?
We did jack shit.
Did we make people afraid? Maybe.
Anyway, this has been a fantastic episode as far as I'm concerned.
Good.
And we will be right back with what did we learn today?
Can't wait.
All right. Well, welcome back. We are going to discuss what we've learned today. Ready?
I'm so ready.
Let's do it. Not that you didn't already know, but Megan Fox is alarmingly hot. European wines don't cause headaches like California wines do. I am available for voice work if you want a bad British/Scottish accent. Jesus died in AD 30 or 33. He was between 33 and 36, which we find to be quite a long lifespan given the time period. Iron Man Dark Winter.
Yes.
Beware babies with guns. Don't eat beans in the apocalypse. Well, it didn't say don't eat beans. It just said don't. Anyway. If you're going to be in close quarters, don't eat beans. In the event of societal breakdown, you're going to need the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
Absolutely. And one Garen.
Don't forget to buy a small hydroelectric generator or you'll die. Create a community garden. Share the work so Chris doesn't kill the vegetables.
Yeah, we need a cult.
Cigarettes and wine if it all goes to hell. Cantenna, Pringles can to boost Wi-Fi. Keep on fruckin'. Find and protect your nerds. They will save you. Maybe don't entirely trust the government and law enforcement / the military. And get ready for a long ride back to normalcy.
Oh, boy.
We actually learned a lot today.
We did.
I know you didn't think we did, but we did.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
No.
Well, we didn't teach a lot.
It's okay.
We kind of learned together.
I feel better.
Good. I'm glad.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Great. I mean, thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to reach out to us at our Gmail podcast, howtosurvive@gmail.com. We're on social media, Instagram and Twitter.
We love getting the messages. It's just such a nice, it's really like a little sunshine in my day when I see someone is enjoying the podcast. It meant something to them. They're having fun. It's quite, this is going to sound pretentious, but it's quite a gift. It's quite a gift to have people enjoying something what you're doing.
I love interacting with our listeners.
Yeah,
they're
it's
great.
really nice.
They're
so thank you.
Funny too, and smart. So
Yes.
it's kind of a cool bonus.
It is absolutely.
So yeah, reach out. We love it.
Yeah. So have a great time until next week. Bye.
Bye bye.